A self-managed super fund can give you greater control and flexibility over your retirement savings, but are SMSFs all they're cracked up to be? This video is going to take you through the pros and cons of setting up your own SMSF and how they differ to a standard retail or industry super fund. G'day, I'm Strano, the founder of SUPERGUY, the place where Australians go to maximise their super and build their own retirement plan. If you're new here, make sure you click that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified each time I release a new video. If you get value from this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds and it lets me know that you like the videos and it motivates me to make more. Alright, let's get started. If you've ever wondered what a SMSF is, well, you're about to find out. A SMSF is a self-managed superannuation fund. So there's basically 3 main types of super funds in Australia. We have industry funds. You've probably heard of Australian Super, CBUS, HESTA, MTAA, Host Plus, and so on and so forth. Then there's retail funds, such as AMP Super, BT Super, Macquarie, Asgard, MLC, and so on. And then there's self-managed super funds known as SMSFs. So unlike industry and retail super funds, which have a professional trustee and thousands of members, a SMSF must have less than 7 members and all members are also the trustees. So that means that the trustees are responsible for all of the investment decisions within the SMSF and must make sure that the SMSF follows all the superannuation rules. If the trustees fail to follow all the rules, the SMSF ceases to be a super fund, and then it loses all of its tax concessions associated with super funds, which is basically, the 15% tax concessions on investment earnings during accumulation phase and 0% earnings on pension phase. So it's important that the trustees tick all the right boxes, because if they start getting those wrong, then it fails to maintain its status as a super fund, and it gets taxed at ordinary tax rates, or the highest marginal tax rate. Now, although the trustees are responsible, in reality, and in most cases, the trustee employs the services of and gets help from, an SMSF accountant, an SMSF administrator to make sure that they're meeting all their compliance requirements. And they might even have a financial planner to receive strategic and investment advice. So these professionals help keep the trustees on track. It's not as if they do it all by themselves. Some do. Probably shouldn't unless you've got a fair idea of what you're doing. So why do people have an SMSF and what are the benefits? Well, there are a number of benefits, but the main benefit is that an SMSF, or what draws people in, is that a SMSF can invest in almost anything. So with an industry or retail superannuation fund, you might be able to invest in, the balanced option or the growth option, or maybe a range of managed funds, or certain shares, or, a limited number of term deposits maybe. But whatever's on the investment menu of the industry fund or the retail fund. But with an SMSF, you can invest in all of that and a lot more. An SMSF allows you to invest in shares on any share market, term deposits from any provider, so any bank, credit union, so on. You can invest in a rental property. You can invest in commercial property. You could even use your super balance to buy the business premises that you or your family run your business from. You can invest in private equity, artwork. The list goes on, provided that it's allowed by the investment strategy of your SMSF and your trustee of the SMSF. So there are rules. So legislation basically allows you to invest in all of those things, but then it might be further restricted by what your specific SMSF investment strategy says. But legally, you can invest in all those things. So investment flexibility is definitely the main attraction of a self-managed super fund, but there are many other benefits. So there's administrative flexibility and control. Because an SMSF is managed and run by the trustees and the members of the fund, what that means is that the day-to-day operations and the activities are not delayed by administrative processes or functionality. You're not relying on super fund staff members to process requests and so on and so on. So if you wanted to transfer X amount from this bank account into, your trading account, or from that bank account to that one, or buy, a property or whatever. You're not phoning up your superannuation fund, waiting on hold and all that. So you've got access generally to all of your bank accounts, all of your trading accounts and things like that. So you can act a lot quicker. You can make more tactical decisions. You can capitalize on opportunities and react quicker to legislative changes, to economic events and so forth. So there is that administrative flexibility and control that's also a benefit. The other main benefit not available with other superannuation funds is the ability to borrow. So you can borrow to invest in assets such as property and shares within a self-managed super fund via what's called a limited recourse borrowing arrangement, or an LRBA. There's also plenty more estate planning options with a self-managed super fund, which means you can have more control and more certainty around who receives your super if you die, whether it's paid as a lump sum or income stream. And the estate planning could also allow, your family to retain certain investment assets that might be important to the family without needing to sell them. So within the fund, you might own a specific property or investment asset that can be retained because it stays within the family fund. So what's the downside of a self-managed super fund? Well, apart from much, much more paperwork, a lot more legal responsibilities and bigger time commitments to running the fund, there's also the cost. So an SMSF costs about probably ballpark $2,000 to $3,000 to set up, and then probably at least the same again each year as maintenance running costs. So accounting, ATO levies, it may be some, and that doesn't include investment costs. So this is just the administration, the audit of the fund and so forth. So it can be expensive. However, unlike retail and industry funds, which generally charge fees based on a percentage of your super balance, an SMSF, the administration costs are generally fixed. Well, they are fixed. So that means that on larger balances, an SMSF can be cheaper, and for very large balances, it can be significantly cheaper. And that's about it. That's the basics of an SMSF. So what do you reckon? Is an SMSF as good as it seems? I'd be interested to hear in your comments below. If you learned something new from this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you want more exclusive superannuation tips, head over to superguy.com.au and sign up for my newsletter. It's free. That's where I share my best content. Stay super and subscribe.